Hello my friends and welcome back, it's episode 26. It's time to press on. They're inside the lab, call for backup, the whole security network is down, take cover. Come on, boys. Let's be friends. Dead. As you stoop to pick up the guard's key card, something catches your eye, a flash of light. Sweeping your gaze across the room, you see a variety of terminals, all displaying flickering error messages. Whatever security Apex provided here, it's offline now, leaving the machines unlocked and unprotected. Probably won't stay quiet in here for long, we should keep moving. Not yet, not yet. Alright, fine, we'll search the room, but let's do it quickly. I don't want to get stuck in here again. Press a key. Press a key at random, the screen begins to flash. A piezoelectric beeper buried somewhere deep inside the terminal plays a series of chirps and the system reboots itself. When the screen comes alive again, it's filled with text. Welcoming administrator. Welcome, Administrator. Please select from the following options. Hypermorphile studies. Information in this entry is impossibly dense. It would take you a week and a stack of scientific journals to fully decipher. During train 9, most of the text on the screen is nonsense. You catch a few words here and there. For the most part, you're lost. What little you can pick up, it looks as though this lab was studying animals that thrive in extremely hot environments. For what purpose, you cannot say. Open the entry named Artificial Lymphocytes and Monoclonal Antibody Production. Most written in this report is completely foreign to you, but from what you can piece together, it looks as though the scientists here are working on developing some sort of artificial immune cell. Something sturdy and self-replicating that's capable of pumping antibodies out on command. What they're doing, why they're doing it is beyond you. Entry: hypermetric techniques for slowing radioactive decay. Entry is overflowing with complicated magical figures. It would take a skilled mage to decipher it. You pour through the entry for several minutes before giving up. The meta-magical terminology in use here is far too dense for a non-mage to understand. The only clue you're left with is the title of the entry. Apparently they're using magic to extend the half-life of radioactive isotopes. Why they're doing it, you cannot say. Pancreas. Recent development notes. Surprisingly, this entry is relatively easy to read. Skimming over, you discover the scientists here have been working on a variety of additional tweaks to a project called Pancreas. Or Panacita, maybe. It might be Panacita, actually. Apparently, a batch of artificial lymphocytes developed from the project has recently been bound with an airborne RNA virus. The resulting microorganism is infectious as the flu and exhibits a broad-band capability to jump species barriers. Notes also discuss the bioagent Doom and the resident scientist's efforts to deconstruct it. appears as though they're attempting to improve upon the formula in some way. There's a moment of silence as the group absorbs everything you've just read. Don't like the looks of this. Don't like it at all. Got any insights about this, Glory? I think Panacea is a sort of delivery system for Doom. It's a virus, airborne and highly infectious, and it can produce Doom antibodies on command, but the radioactive payload of Doom antibodies is stable somehow, dormant. Magical research is over my head, so I don't know how that ties in. All this makes me feel extremely uneasy. I mean, Doom is dangerous enough on its own. I don't like the idea of Vauclair tinkering with it. Any of that makes sense to you? I only caught a little of it, the magical research stuff, and most of it was over my head. Don't really go into hermetic theory, boss. Makes my eyes glaze over every time. What I can understand, looks like mages here found a way to stabilize radioactive material. Guess you could say something like that. Guess you could use something like that for a lot of things. Pretty open-ended, but something tells me that I'm not gonna like whatever Vauclair's doing with it. Whatever's going on here, we have more important things to do than stand around talking about it. Let's keep moving. Iger is a meathead, so there's no need to listen to her opinion. A message flashes onto the status panel at your approach. Lab security, central control, priority security offline. Keycard entry required. Ah, that's the stuff. Only reason why you bring Dietrich along. What am I doing? Wrong move. So that he can provide ultimate bunny power. Wrong move. Now that's what I'm talking about. See what these boys do with half their action points missing. Oh! Nice! Down you go. Locked. Lab security central control. Security offline. Auto lock override engaged. Let's forget jacking into things. Enter storage entry code. Oh, it's a number. It's what an idiot would have on his luggage. I have no idea. And I don't remember from when I played this over a decade ago. Nice! It's not every day that she gets off a hit like that. Oh! nice shot. How dare you? That was a nice shot. That was easy. Excess doors are floodlights. Please engage LTG as your designated air duct. Okay, it's the same thing again. Read message. Borch and Hands. Need to organise an all-staff meeting to discuss lab safety. Everyone's overworked and overstressed, and it's a perfect recipe for workplace accidents. I'm telling you, we cannot afford any more accidents. The loss of Van Willick has been hard on everybody. He was well liked, and watching him die in such a horrible fashion has been hard on morale. The staff is still committed to the cause. They all know what they signed up for, and they all know how important this is, but losing such a good man because of such basic lapses in lab safety has been a difficult pill to swallow. I'm writing this to request additional security for the animal testing lab. You know how large and vicious these creatures can be without more trained handlers on staff, just begging for another accident. Remember what happened to Van Willick. I'd also like to repeat my request that the animals be defanged, declawed and muzzled, preferably someplace far away from the lab. Our having to use them is unavoidable due to their genetic similarity to our targets, but that doesn't mean that we can't take precautions. I want to thank you for pushing through the new Hermetic Lab online. On pushing to bring the new Hermetic Lab online, it's good to know you're listening to our requests. The research that the Hermetic research has been doing should make our work with the Panacea much more manageable. We're homing in. There's a large crack that runs right through this section of the wall. Apex control entity offline. Ow. Not managed to confirm that hit, which is good for me and bad for them. Alright, brain offline. Oh, come on. I suppose the 2 crits makes up for the 2 misses. Just about. Okay. Oh, that was quite the hit. really starting to suffer the indignities of being a melee character. Wow, that was quite the hit. There was another quite the hit. It's really hard to tell sometimes who you're hitting. Well, it's better than nothing. Ooh. Flanked even though she's not flanked. Wrecked. No one bites the dust. Okay, switch 2 off. Alright, well, he ain't getting back up. Nice, I think I got everybody's AP. Pretty much. Now I got everybody's AP. Finally, an opportunity for cleave. I bet he felt that. Wow, that was just absolutely horrible. Let's hurry up and get rid of that 28 before it gets confirmed. Splat. Missed. Okay, that was easy enough. You could be, well, I guess you have to be. You could be a lot more aggressive than you, well, you have, I think you have to be a lot more aggressive than with a rifle. You know, with a rifle, you'd like wait here and just wait for them to come to you and then just hose them down with overwatches if you needed to. Bouncing around, like removing all of the AP from everybody is how you get it done with melee. Sounds of machinery fade behind you as you venture further underground. Whoever built this facility was clearly well financed. It must have taken years to design, excavate, and build a complex like this in secrecy. You continue through dimly lit halls, finally stepping into what appears to be another laboratory area. The corridor before you is deserted. Dr. Adrian Vauclair is somewhere in this facility, and with him the answers you seek. A bunch of questions, and I'll have them answered immediately. An old man behind the glass works feverishly at his console. Glancing up at you when he can, a cigarette still dangles from his mouth, its bluish smoke curling around his head. An overflowing ashtray sits on the lab table in front of him. The years have not been kind, but his features are still instantly recognizable. Despite his age, he still has a strong chin and high cheekbones you remember from the Green Winters DVD. This is Dr. Adrian Vauclair. As you approach, he stops what he's doing, a look of intense irritation on his face. He clears his throat and a harsh rasping sound emerges from the loudspeaker next to the glass. So you're the Shadowrunners that Adrian warned me about. I assume you left a trail of corpses in your wake. That's on you, Doc. You got some explaining to do. I have some explaining to do. This is my home. You're the intruder here. If anyone needs to explain himself, it's you. He reaches down and flips the switch. You hear a loud thud and a click behind you as the doors lock shut. You'll find the blast door behind you is sealed and the laboratory you occupy is fully secured. An important precaution. We keep our test subjects in there and they are far more dangerous than you. I won't permit you to cause any further harm, Shadowrunner. You remain trapped where you are for your own good. Break the glass between you and Vauclair. The hell I will. Launch yourself at the window, your shoulder slamming into the hard surface with a heavy thud. Despite your best efforts, the window doesn't budge. The window between us is made of Dakote treated transplast. Do whatever you like to it. You'll find it's quite unbreakable. Bastard's right. Nothing we're carrying can even scratch Dakote. That glass is essentially sheathed in diamond. We need military-grade explosives to crack it. We're stuck in here. Now, he fixes you with a little stare. I want you to know why the hell you so violently interjected yourself into my business. First you break into my estate, which you didn't even know was mine, apparently. Then you spend what must have been a small fortune to track me down. You locate my AI, destroy it, then drive all the way out to the countryside and finally shoot your way into my laboratory. So I've got to ask you, Shadowrunner, who are you and why in God's name are you here? Oh, you know, just shopping around. I've always wanted a secret lair underneath a giant castle. Think there's some sort of game runner? It's far more at stake here than the lives of a few petty criminals. Nevertheless, a life is still a life. Setting Apex in order after you is my doing, and I accept responsibility for that. You're gonna pay for that, you bastard. Why attack the Cruz Bazaar, Vauclair? Why kill Paul Amsel? It was necessary to preserve the secrecy of my work, for the greater good of all. I know I've wronged you, and for this I'm sorry. He sighs a long rattling sigh that quickly turns into a violent fit of coughing. The sound echoes over the loudspeaker. He collects himself, continues. Didn't expect you to understand, nor do I have the time to explain it to you. I must know. How did you learn I was still alive? How did you even know to look for me? Did someone send you? We found out from your brother. We found out about you from your brother. We found out about you from your brother. There was an antiquated DVD about the Dragonfall. brother, and the one that probably still talks about his brother. There's an antiquated DVD storage device, a bunch of talk about Dragonfall, and a body corpse of a guy named Green Winters. Maybe you knew him. Bloody corpse? What do you mean? Where's Hermie? Explain yourself. Oh, Hermie's great. I mean, Des adore now. Somebody's pet AI fried his brain. Other than that, he's great. I didn't. He suddenly overcome another fit of coughing and stays himself down the chair. Apex. Should have never trusted that thing. Oh, Hermie, things I've sacrificed. All for this panacea. All for tonight. Your modified virus. What's tonight, Doctor? What are you planning to do with the panacea? Yes, you should know about it then. Panacea is my life's work, a permanent solution to an age-old problem. It means the end of the dragons, not just for Schwinge, all dragons. Explain yourself, Doctor. Vauclair fumbles his pockets, produces a fresh cigarette. He lights it with shaking hands and breathes in deeply. The orange glow of the cigarette flares bright. When he exhales, the words spill out of the smoke. Firewing burned and murdered and caused untold damage in her bestial rage until the Dragonfall, until I stopped her. That destruction was merely a symptom of a greater cancer. Verschwinge wrought destruction with fire and claw. The dragons of today, Lorfa, Drokozan, Saladir, they kill and conquer with subtler tools, deception, manipulation, corruption. They use us as pawns, playing pieces, puppets in their millennia-long machinations. Oh yes, dragons are a cancer, one that will conquer, or worse, destroy all of humanity if we don't stop it. One that metastasized when the world awakened. An ironic metaphor, since it was a failing of my own body that allowed me to see it. Cut to the chase. Darker Soul notes no panacea is a stable variant of doom. Whatever you're doing, it can't be good. Good or bad is immaterial. Do what is necessary. He trembles, wrecked again by violent coughing. The coughing subsides. He takes another long drag on his cigarette, the ash sleeping closer and closer towards his mouth. I'm sorry, Hermie. Sorry you won't be able to see it for yourself. Sorry I failed you. When Claire sends his attention back to the computer, stubbing out his cigarette, he grabs a fresh one from the pack and lights it. Tonight I will release Panacea to the world, and how absurd that the instrument of Dragonkind's destruction. He presses the button on the terminal. A large observation window at the far end of the room rises slowly open. Will be carried by Verschwinge herself. Through the glass you see the prostrate form of a dragon far below. An enormous set of shackles binds it, and a maze of tubes and snakes. And a maze of tubes snakes into its body. The tubes connect to a cruel-looking apparatus that has been mounted to the wall. Son of a bitch, look at that. He found her alive in the socks after all. Tonight the Firewing will fly again. Infected with Panacea, she will slowly be destroyed from within. But before that happens, she'll provide the catalyst for the global transmission of the virus. Catalyst? What catalyst? Verschwinge's fire will carry the agent in its dormant state. Any metahumans exposed will become carriers, and will spread the disease to the other dragons. Carriers will be affected with Panacea as well, but it will not harm them. To non-dragons, it is a nuisance, nothing more. When a critical mass of carriers is achieved, my Panacea will become unstoppable. It will spread across the globe in a relentless tide. However, if it does not reach this critical mass, it will fizzle, die out, become inert. Hence the need for a ground zero, a flashpoint for a mass infection event. Sorry, Hermie, I know how you loved your flux state, but it doesn't matter now. It must be Berlin. I understand your reasoning, but there has to be a better way. Sadly, there is not. If there were, I would gladly take it. For Panacea to work, Berlin must burn. A tragic sacrifice, but one made for the greater good. Verschwing will breathe her infected fire upon Berlin, thousands will die, and through that destruction the virus will take to the air. Critical mass of Berlin's metahuman population will be exposed, but no one will even think to quarantine the city until it's too late. Flux state lacks any centralized authority. Corporations will evacuate on their own, thousands will flee the city infected. Oh yes, Hermie, Berlin is the perfect flashpoint. Wasn't supposed to happen tonight, no, but this little intervention of yours leaves us no choice. So let us see. Tonight's wind patterns dictate that Ground Zero be Tempelhof, Schöneberg. Highly populated, the virus will spread quickly enough from there. That's only a few kilometers from the Cruise Bazaar. Don't do it, Vauclair, I swear I will make you hurt if you do, and I will make it last. Vauclair sighs, shuts his eyes tight, brings a shaking hand to his temple. We all know that's not going to happen. You are trapped here, impotent to stop this from happening, and it will happen. The old man eyes the cigarette butt in his hand, fishes another out of the pack and lights it with the first. Then he returns to his console, reaching the side for a microphone. He mutters something to the receiver and you can just barely make out the sound of the name Audrian. When he turns to address you again, his voice is level. The shaking in his hand seems to have subsided. Security will be here soon and they will take care of you. Don't worry, you will not be harmed. The sacrifice I'm making tonight is a necessary evil. It cannot be helped. So long as you remain confined, I see no reason to kill you too. How are you going to get the Verschwinger to go along with this plan of yours? Oh, that's simple enough. She has no choice. The gaunt woman in containment cell stands rigidly, her face pressed against the glass, her haunted yellow eyes tracking her every move. She appears frightened, disorientated, lost, her mouth moves silently, her voice muted by her glass cage. The stories from Green Winters found were true. Verschwinger's astral form was separated from her body when she fell. You trapped it somehow, yes, but that came later. In 2012 we took down Verschwinge with an experimental weapon. This device, suffice it to say, I couldn't fully predict how it would affect her. In 2036 led the search team into the socks. I had to know what really happened to the creature I had slain. We found her alive, in a way. The dragon's astral form, her spirit you might say, had been ripped from her body by the weapon. It was trapped inside a young woman living in the socks. A mob of glowpunks revered her, treated her like a goddess. I transported the young woman and the dragon's body here where I could study them. I mean, she's been in that cell for almost 20 years. No choice. A creature separated from its astral form cannot live more than a few hours before both die. It was the high intensity radiation of the socks combined with a magical creature inside her that allowed the woman to live for as long as she has. So, the environment within the containment chamber mirrors that of the socks. It's allowed to keep the Verschwing alive all these years, while her bestial shell remains chained up below. Now, as for her physical form, that will be simple as well. We've drilled a series of electrical charges directly into her skull. When we release the Firewing's body, empty of her astral self, we will trigger all the various instincts and primal urges left in her reptile brain. She will unleash... she will unleash her fire where we command it. Astral dragon stuck in a jar. Big dumb dragon body rigged up to obey your commands. Got it. Summarize as you wish. History will prove me right. Nevertheless, I'm done discussing this with you. Verschwing must fly. Berlin must be sacrificed. It must be tonight. Now where's that damned Audrian? I don't like what you're planning for, Claire, but if it kills all the dragons, maybe it's worth it. Feel my evil. Well, I wasn't evil before. I want to see Berlin burn. I don't want to see Berlin burn, but if that's what it will take to save the rest of the world, then I think you should do it, and I won't try and stop you. What? Interesting. I'm skeptical, of course, but interesting nonetheless. If you're sincere about letting me finish my work, then lay down your arms and make yourself comfortable. Audrey will be here momentarily to ensure your compliance. When my work is done, I would like to walk away free. Glory stares at you, her face is going white. You can't be thinking of doing this, not after what you did to Monica and to Paul and everyone else who died in the Criz Bazaar. Not after everything we've been through together. Don't do this, Edmund. If he goes through with his plan, everyone who survived the attack will die. They'll be incinerated. I trusted you, Edmund. Maybe I still do. But if you want to help this monster, you'll do it over my dead body. Mine too. Dirtress's voice is low, barely a whisper. You take this step, boss, and I'll put you down like a rabid dog. It's the only warning I'm going to give you. I'm doing it, man. I never did this when I first played through. I bet very few playthroughs exist where someone does this. Please stand down. I don't want to fight you. Vauclair's right. I wish he wasn't, but he is. Can't you see that? This plan doesn't happen tonight. All of our sacrifice, Paul's death, Monica's death, will be in vain. God damn it, Edmund. Can't let you do this, boss. He lost control of it. Evil ending. Oh my god, the Inferno killed Iger. That's so funny. Oh, that was easy. Interesting, very interesting. You're late, Ordrin. There's been some unexpected developments in your absence. Sorry, Doc, we're waking up the dragon's physical form. The process required some care. Everything's ready for you down there, by the way. When you're ready, you should see to it. I will, and as for our friend here, yeah, I saw that. Good job catching the bastard, Doc. I'll take care of him for you, the same way I did his old fixer. That won't be necessary, Ordrin. Our guest has agreed to a truce. He will not attempt to stop us from doing what must be done. If you say so, Doc. Suddenly have a little accident in there. It looks messy. There was some disagreement within the group. That's settled now, yes? Just killed my friends for this bland heroes for Claire. Sacrifice for the greater good, just like the one I'm about to make. You understand the weight that I must carry. It's fun, isn't it? Ordrin, watch over our guest, I will. See that he's well treated. He's a friend now. I will begin the panacea infusion process. Understood. You made the right choice, Shadowrunner. Just sit on your hands the next few hours, and I promise you, next time you set foot outside this lab, the world will be a different place. The Doc may trust you, but I don't, so you're going to sit right there where I can see you, and you're not going to move until Berlin burns to the ground. I'd kill my own teammates if I weren't sincere about this, maybe, but you could just be that nuts. I've known guys who were. Think what you like. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here and wait for Claire to release the dragon. Alright, so you're going to stand there and let the Doc do his thing? Fine. Let's just sit here then. Don't make any sudden moves and don't start pushing any buttons. Shouldn't take long now. The Doc is probably already pumping the dragon's body full of live virus. Just both hang out here and see what happens. Evil wins! Your old van rattles over the uneven terrain as you make your way back to Harfield Manor, and Vauclair's message was as short as it was cryptic. Urgent, come back to the lab, your assistance is needed. In the years since Vauclair released his panacea, the world has gone through a lot of changes. The balance of power has shifted from one megacorp to another, and the market shares have risen and fallen. A worldwide effort to find the cure for the worm flu continues. The dragons are dead. Vauclair's work was a rousing success, but over the past few months, strange things have been happening. Unexplained magical phenomena, the emergence of strange new creatures, disasters both natural and man-made. Your van rolls to a halt. If anyone can explain what's happening to the world, Vauclair can. Time to go find him. The air is thick in here and musty, a layer of dusk marred by the occasional handprint. Coats every visible surface. The keycard that Vauclair sent you feels slick in your hand. Up ahead you see the soft glow of a functioning terminal. Terminal is active, keycard reader is set into its base. The menu screen is a simple thing, only 2 items to choose from. Victory report, verified keycard access. Victory report. Verschwing. Verschwing returns, attacks Berlin. Great Dragon Verschwing, believed dead since 2012, returned tonight to launch a surprise attack on the city of Berlin. It was awful, said Janny Acker, a survivor of the attack. Swooped down on us, crashing through buildings, vomiting flames. I thought I was sure to die, but a strange-looking elf used his magic to save me. I never even learned his name, he continued. He shielded me from harm and he was consumed by the flames. His companion, a pale elvish woman, went mad. Don't remember anything after that. Similar sentiments have been pouring in from victims all over the city. Tens of thousands have been confirmed dead. Many times that have been wounded. Across all Berlin, fires rage with the magnitude that has not been seen since the Second World War. Dragon's attack was brought to an end 2 hours after it began by a wing of Schroeder-Krupp attack craft. Fighters were armed with experimental Gauss cannons. To quote Schroeder-Krupp's spokesman, they tore through her armor like tinfoil. A lot has changed since 2012, the spokesman continued. Conventional weapons technology is more than capable of bringing down a dragon these days, even one as fearsome as the Firewing. That said, the fight was not one-sided. We lost several craft in the pursuit of Verschwinger at a cost of several hundred million Nguyen. Despite Schroeder-Krupp's victory over the dragon, today remains a day of mourning across Germany. The free city of Berlin lies in ruins, set to the torch by a monster the world thought dead. Mystery illness reaches pandemic status. World Health Organization just released a statement about a new mystery illness that is sweeping the globe like wildfire. The virus has been given a temporary designation of CSMDS, or short for cross-species muscular decay syndrome. The virus is both extremely infectious and asymptomatic in metahumans. As such, it was able to spread across much of the globe without being detected. It is, however, highly dangerous to draconic life forms. Along with WHO's press release, Schroeder-Krupp has revealed that Great Dragon Loafer is currently battling the disease. The WHO has traced the point of origin of CSMDS to Berlin. Disaster conditions that still plague the city months after Verschwinger's second rampage might have contributed to the rapid spread of CSMDS, a WHO spokesperson told us. Much of the city still lacks basic sanitation services, and clean water is difficult to come by. Disaster areas such as Berlin have reportedly shown themselves to be ideal breeding grounds for the disease. WHO has urged the international community to exercise continued vigilance through battling the disease. All appropriate precautions must be observed when dealing with CSMDS. The press release reads, while CSMDS does not appear to be dangerous to metahumans, it does incorporate both magical and radiological elements, and this alone is reason enough to treat it as a potential threat. Global pandemic of CSMDS, colloquially known as the worm flu, enters its third month today. In the meantime, overwhelming majority of the world's population has been infected with the disease, and nearly 3/4 of the world's dragon population have succumbed to the illness. We metahumans dodged a bullet this time, said Albrecht Hashferer, Senior Vice President of AG Chemi Europa. The dragons weren't so lucky. We're close to finding a cure, but I'm not sure we're close enough to save them. In a way, this is good for us, Hashferer continued. It is of course tragic that so many dragons are dying so horribly of this disease, but this is the first opportunity we've had to watch a slate wiper virus at work against an intelligent population. We can learn a lot by studying CSMDS, and hopefully that knowledge will help us avoid suffering a similar fate. Dr. Christine Marta, Director of Research at Universal Omtech, took a more cautious view of CSMDS pandemic. This disease, or a mutant strain of it, could still do to us what it's doing to the dragons. That is why it's imperative that we find a cure quickly. Thankfully we're getting close to doing just that. While standard Zeta interferon treatments have proven ineffective, we're working around the clock to G-engineer a variant of the Z interferon that can combat the disease. Last Dr. Martin, when Universal Omnitech's cure was expected to be ready for deployment. Can't give you a definite timeline, but can say that we'll be ready to move into human trials soon. I'll keep you posted. Dragons extinct. Dragons extinct. Worm flu claims life of last known dragon. The great dragon Hestabe, the last known dragon on Earth, has died. Hestabe was best known for her 2053 intervention in Tiriguire's assault on the California Free State. After interceding in the conflict, she claimed the Chester Dam and a 40-mile area surrounding it as her lair. She's remembered as one of the most popular great dragons, second only to the late Dun Kelzelzahn in public opinion. She was also the champion of metahuman rights causes and aid organizations around the world, declared today a day of mourning. Hestabe was one of the most magnificent creatures to have ever lived. UCAS President Thomas Steele said in a prepared statement, "It's fitting that the great dragons of the world should be memorialized in her image." Living in a post-dragon world, SK power struggle continues, prosperity increases. The most hotly contested position to be vacated in the worm flu outbreak has finally been filled. Wilhelmer Gaff Benoy, the former Schroeder-Krupp CEO who was disposed in the Great Dragon Loafer's hostile takeover of 2036, has reclaimed her former position as the head of the corporate giant. In the wake of the tragedy, we will stand strong, Graf Benoy said. The dragons may have succumbed to CSMDS, but we, the survivors, will not succumb to despair. Pick up the torch that Loafer dropped, and with it I will carry Schroeder-Krupp towards new heights. This is a great day for both for me personally and for SK as a corporate entity, she concluded. At long last, I've finally come home. Meanwhile, nearly 3 months after the death of the last dragon, global prosperity continues to rise. Markets have stabilized, power vacuums have been filled, and while the vast majority of draconic wealth has been absorbed into the coffers of various megacorps, enough has filtered back into the market to revitalize the global economy. At the risk of sounding insensitive, the feeling of most of the big money movers seems to be good riddance. Great dragons were huge drains on the economies of every country they settled in. Death of intelligent species, of course, a terrible thing. I myself was a fan of worm talk, he adds, but from an economist's perspective, all things being equal, the extinction of the great dragons was a huge stroke of luck. So while we're still reeling from what happened, we're also getting richer, he concludes. For the first time in decades, things are really looking up for us, for meta-humanity as a whole, and that is a good thing. Alright. Leave me alone, I'm busy. I don't know how much longer this ending is going to go on for. Vauclair looks up from his computer, a cigarette dangling from his lip. He looks shriveled and frail, his eyes shrunken into his skull, liver spots dot his paper-thin skin. The way his legs are shaking, he looks like it's a miracle he's standing upright at all. Thank you for coming. Got your message. Said you wanted to talk. Helped me save the world once before. At least you didn't stand in my way. The plan worked. The dragons are dead, but the world is still in trouble. It still needs saving. Strange things are happening out there, Vauclair. Do you have an explanation? An explanation? No, but I do have thoughts on the matter. Many terrible things have happened over the past few months. I do not believe them to be coincidences. The events are connected somehow. I'm sure of it. Alright, let's say there's some connection. What do you expect me to do about it? I expect you to help me. I'm still alive, but only barely. I don't have the strength to do much myself anymore, and Aldrin cannot handle this task on his own. What task? Tell me what you need. I need you to help me set things right. Help me save the world once again. Body may be failing, but it's still in my mind. We can find a way out of this. There has to be a solution. Alright, tell me what you need to do. Thank you. I was worried you wouldn't come, that you wouldn't be willing to help once you got here. I should have trusted you, my friend. First thing you need to do is get up to speed. I have terminals, information terminals throughout the lab. There, I've unlocked them for you. And you want me to read them, familiarize yourself with what we're up against, then come back to me so that we might discuss. Okay, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot more reading and stuff, so that is it for now. Join me next time. I've got quite a bit I want to say after the game is finished anyway, so even if it's only another 10 minutes, I think it'll be worth. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video.